Kobe, you know what's good?
Oh, what's that, Barry?
Evil is good. Ass is good. If you get yourself an evil piece of ass, whew. I didn't want to do full because I was like, that might be taken the wrong way. What's going on, guys? My name is Barry.
This is Colby.
And this is Who Watches This. Welcome to the second movie of
Love Bites or vampire comedies. Whatever.
Either or. I mean, they both really work, and I think, and today, God, I haven't seen this movie since I was a kid.
It was me neither.
And I remember not liking this because I had grown up with his other movies.
Yes.
And so when I watched this, I was just probably a shy, too young for like dark comedies.
Mm-hmm.
Because you get so used to like actors like Jim Carrey with like Ace Ventura, and then when he does something like Eternal Sunshine, you're like, whoa, or The Majestic,
right.
You're like, oh, it's weird, and then you appreciate it like later, like, oh, yeah, that was actually a really good movie.
Right. I agreed. I had totally forgot until I watched it this week. I was like, oh, this is a comedy, but Eddie Murphy plays a serious part.
Serious-ish? He has a good amount of like levity when he's talking to his partner. I don't want to. It is an Eddie Murphy movie, but we're trying to keep it in a mystery until we get to our Dr. Seuss section.
Right.
But I remember catching this.
It's not Shrek.
Yeah.
Because of all the vampires in that,
Because in the morning I'm making waffles. That's like one of the things I still quote to this day. Oh, man. I think I remember Shrek 2, right? I remember Shrek 2 the most because it's when I first moved to Vegas. And, I had met some girl at like some job interview for Cold Stone.
Okay, yeah.
And she was like, oh, you want to hang out? Because, we hung out for a little bit after the interview. She was waiting for her ride. And I was just like, oh, I live down the street. But, I'm waiting for my ride, too. And, we ended up hooking out. I was like, oh, this is really sweet. Is this Vegas all like this? And then in the background, while we're supposed to be watching a movie, it was Shrek 2.
Yeah, hey, perfect. Now you have a weird fetish for donkeys and green guys, but whatever. Hey,
well,
weirdly, Hulk turns you on now.
Well, no, because like after I was like, oh, do you want to like kick it for a little bit? Because I'm making waffles. We did not end up seeing each other after that, so I don't know if it was bad or what.
Right. I always remember the phrase in high school was, hey, you should ask that girl out and see if she wants to go see a movie you don't want to see.
Yeah, was I don't want to make it sound like I'm making fun of you, because you're a little bit older than me, but was it like drive-ins?
I went to there was actually a drive-in in Vegas at that time. We went in drive-ins.
Yeah, but was that like, like, I remember watching movies like Grease where that was like the premiere, like Sandy.
No, well, I always pick the wrong people to go with. Like, I'd be like, hey, here's the girl I want. And then I'll bring my friends, and that way, like, it won't feel so awkward. But then I always brought, like, super cock-blocky friends who were like, we want to spend all the time with the girl. Oh, let's go throw rocks at, like...
Let's go throw rocks off a bridge and endanger ongoing traffic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you really got to pick, like, the right friends for those situations.
Yes.
Because I was always like, oh, okay, they're about to, I'm gonna go get some popcorn.
Yeah. Right, and that was what it's like. Hey, why don't you go get us some popcorn, guys? Oh no, I'm not hungry. I ate before I came. Dude, get the hell out of the car.
It's crazy now, like, because we still have the drive-in in Vegas. And
Do we?
Yeah, it's like by Texas Station or something like that.
Oh yeah, I think that's where it was.
Yeah, I think it's still the same one, but like I think it's kind of like I had always thought they had like put like receivers next to each car so you can hear. I didn't know you're supposed to like tune it into a specific station.
Okay, so how old I am.
Yeah.
When I first went, they had the little speaker.
Okay.
That you would put on the side of your car. And then I remember when they changed it over to the radio station.
Yeah, I don't like the radio station. I would rather, because then you're engine idling. Or you're wasting your car battery.
Well, so we're Vegas, so yes, my engine idled because that way I had the air conditioning.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I know that. Like, obviously, if it was me, I'd be like, all right, we're only going in the winter.
Right. Yeah.
But like, yeah, I can't. I was like, someone had asked me to go. Like, I think I was in high school, and he was like, yeah, let's go. And then we went, and then you're like, okay, you got to tune it to a station. And it's like, yeah, I'm not leaving my car. You know, even at that time, I was like, you know how expensive gas is? And I had a 4Runner.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So I was like, bro, I'm not wasting gas on this. You.
I had like a little Nissan Stanza, so it was pretty good on gas.
Yeah, but I just don't want to waste gas.
Yeah. And it was also like 89 cents a gallon.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when burgers used to cost 5 cents. No, I'm just kidding. Really dating you to like the creation of McDonald's.
but Taco Bell did have the 59, 79, 99 cent menu.
Oh, that's a relic now. That's
yeah.
It's like $1.89 now.
Right.
All right, let's get into our first segment where we Dr. Seuss stuff and stop talking about how old we are. We all do crazy things for love, travel oceans to go beyond and above. When Maximilian comes to NYC to find his paramour, he finds all obstacles in his way a chore. But I guess we'll see in this 1995 cult classic what Max is cooking when we find out there's a vampire in Brooklyn. I think I messed up the last line. I stretched it out a little bit too long.
Nah, hey, it worked.
Yeah, today we're going to be talking about the cult classic 1995 Vampire in Brooklyn, starring Eddie Murphy, written by his brother Charlie Murphy.
Interesting. I did not know that.
And directed by the one of the horror goats, Wes Craven.
Oh, okay.
You didn't see that?
No.
I was like, I was watching the opening credits and stuff or whatever.
Right.
I was like, Wes Craven?
Yep.
Oh man, I actually watched I was like, I have some trivia for the end.
Okay.
But I was like, I had to make sure. I was like, is this written by the Charles Murphy? Yeah, the older brother of Eddie Murphy.
The one that I didn't know existed until Dave Chappelle made fun of him.
Charlie Murphy.
And then all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, he actually did stuff.
I know. Man, that really gave him a platform because it's just like, he's so funny, not like just naturally funny.
Right.
Which, I mean, I understand sometimes that doesn't translate to other mediums. But like a sketch show was perfect for him.
Oh yeah,
to really put himself in the forefront, because I think even then people were like, "Oh, Charlie, he kind of looks like Eddie Murphy."
Right. There was a movie that they did together where it was Eddie and Charlie, and it was like clone or something, or like twin brothers or something, and Eddie Murphy often plays multiple parts in his movies.
Yeah.
So I thought it was him playing both parts.
Oh.
It was just like, it's Eddie Murphy and a slightly less attractive Eddie Murphy.
Oh, yeah, but they really do look alike. They have like the same facial features.
Yeah, definitely related.
But this movie also stars the Everybody's Pops, John Witherspoon.
Right.
I mean, I really came to love John Witherspoon from the Wayans Brothers show and the Friday movies, but yeah.
Yeah, the Friday movies is totally where I was thinking.
Hilarious. And Kadeem Hardison from what's it called?
Dwayne Wayne from
Different World.
Different World. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was huge at this time.
Yeah. Oh, he could do no wrong. Now, I think I saw him in a recent show, and he's like chunky.
Oh.
Yeah, you can tell for like...
I always remember he had the little flip up. Always had the flip up.
He made
sunglasses.
that so cool.
Yep.
Like I remember my cousins like having that. And we have Alan Payne as well, who still looks great.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking at the him now, and it looks like that. Like he could have been in Good Burger. Like he looks that good.
Yeah.
In case you didn't see that, we made a whole joke about how the guys from Good Burger look.
Yeah.
Like they filmed the second part 5 years later instead of 25 years later.
Oh man, yeah. So this cast, I mean, would you consider this sort of a black exploitation movie?
Maybe.
A bit, right? Like Blackula and all that stuff.
Right, but yeah, this was a star-studded cast.
Yeah,
at
for
this
the time,
all this.
Yeah. John Witherspoon was pretty big. Alan Payne was pretty big. Kadeem was really huge.
Right. Eddie Murphy was. This was peak Eddie Murphy, and then he kind of disappeared for a little while, and then he kind of started doing like kids movies.
Well, no, he did. I think like a year or two after this, he did Nutty Professor.
Oh, yeah.
That's where he. Okay, so like I have I have like all the trivia for this because I had to look it up.
Okay.
So we'll just start the movie, right? This movie starts off with a homage to the whole Dracula thing.
Right.
A ship coming into the shipyard. Kadeem Johnson and John Witherspoon are watching what was it called? Family Feud.
Yeah.
With all the Playboy models. Right. And I always, every time you see John Witherspoon on the screen, he always kind of just chews it up.
Oh, right. And he only has one part that he plays in every single movie, but it's always great.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I kind of would have loved to have seen him, before he passed. I would have loved to have seen him in maybe something else serious. Just to see if he, I'm pretty sure he could have done it. I just don't feel like maybe he just wanted to be funny, do comedies and stuff like that. But I think it would have been really good.
I wonder if he was ever like age wise. I feel like he could have been in like a run of like 70s movies and then kind of like disappeared and then kind of reinvented himself as this character in like the guy. 90s.
Yeah, but they're watching it. It's hilarious. The ship is crashing through until it crashes through into his office, and Kadeem runs away. He's, I gotta go to my girl's house. And John Witherspoon, he explores the ship, and he's like, oh my, he's doing the whole John Witherspoon thing where he's finding all these dead bodies.
Yeah, yep.
And he runs into like a wolf.
Right.
Huge, like just like a dire wolf.
Oh yeah. Hound of hell.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I thought at this point I was like, oh no, is this all we're gonna get at John Witherspoon? It'd be terrible. We all of a sudden cut away to a what's called cops coming
right
to the shipyard because you can't have a ship crash through a whole port
and then not have cops show up. Yeah,
and then especially because the ship is filled with dead bodies as well.
Right. Yeah.
Or as what's called Maximilian would call them, juice boxes. Right? I feel like that's what a vampire would be like. Ooh, my Capri Sun.
Yep.
John Witherspoon. We get introduced to our two protagonists, Rita, who's played by the beautiful Angela Bassett.
Right.
Yeah, she still looks so good now. Like I saw her, the most recent thing I think I saw her in was like the American Horror Story series. I was like, Jesus, it's just like she just stepped out of the 90s.
That's yes. Yeah. That's where I recognize.
Yeah, she was like.
I was thinking that like I've seen her recently, but I couldn't put it together. But you were.
Yeah, she was like the voodoo queen during the Coven storyline. I was like, she still looks good, man.
Yeah.
And and Alan Payne, who is her partner, they're detectives. and all this stuff. And then, Alan Payne is trying to interview John Witherspoon and all that stuff. But like we
and
cut
that interview goes exactly how you expect it.
But then we cut away to Kadeem getting thrown out of his girl's crib. And she's like, why you throwing me out of the crib, baby? And she's like, you was snoring. He's like, people snoring when they sleep, not while they're having sex. And everybody's like clowning him in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
it feels like a very New York feel. There's people just hanging out in stoops and stuff in front of their building. Is hilarious. And then until two Italian guys who are from another Wes Craven movie. I think the younger one was from freaking Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay.
Yeah, but and they start accosting Kadeem. They're like, "Well, like, where's our money?" He's
right.
like,
Yeah, you owe us some money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, out of the mist, a very dashing-looking Eddie Murphy comes.
Right.
And he's like, "Oh, you should."
Slick long hair.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, you should let him go." And they're like, "Man, shut up!" And they just like shoot this guy in the middle of the street.
They give him a couple chances, and he's just like, "No, I'm not leaving."
Yeah. And then he rises. He's like, I've been stabbed, hung, but I've never been shot before. And he absolutely murders these two characters. And then he accosts Kadeem, and he's like, "Hey man, I don't know, I ain't see nothing, man. Trying to, he's like, I like you though. He's like, you're a thief and a liar." He's like, "No, I'm not. That's my brother.
That's my brother." He's like, "Oh, well, that was what I liked about you."
He's like, "All right, then I am." And then he, what's it called? He gives him some of his blood,
right?
Which in turn, he's like, "You're gonna be my ghoul."
Yeah, and like you start thinking he's gonna be like the Renfield, but he's a little more like a zombie as the movie goes on.
Well, he's like, he has to earn his way into becoming a vampire, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
This ghoul business, as the movie progresses, is not fun.
Oh yeah. You don't want to be a ghoul.
Yeah. But he's like, "Oh, your first task is to get me my coffin."
Right.
So they go back to the shipyard while all the police are there. He runs into a dog, but he's like, "I don't like dogs," and he like obliterates this dog.
Oh yes. Yeah, shoots it into the sky basically. And
no one like bats an eye, but like the officer that had it, he's like, my dog, my doge. Meanwhile, Angela Bassett's character Rita, she starts to inspect the ship, and she all of a sudden she runs into like a coffin.
Right. Yeah, because she like kind of breaks through into like a hidden room.
Yeah, and she opens it and she sees herself in it.
Yeah.
And she obviously freaks out. Meanwhile, like while that's happening, Alan Payne is talking to their captain, and they're like, "Is she okay? It's been 3 months since her mother died. She has to get back on the job."
Right. Yep.
I mean, I get it. Like it is noted here that like her mother died in the loony bin.
Right.
And we do find out. I don't know if we find out here or later that like her mother was an investigator of the paranormal. And she had, I believe she had died in the Caribbean, right? Or was she in the loony bin in New York?
I thought she was in the loony bin in New York.
Oh, no, her father was the one that died.
Yes, yeah.
In the Caribbean,
yeah.
Right? And then we do get a little short stint at the beginning of the movie before everything happens that, like these vampires had started out in Egypt.
Right.
Right? They've been called many names, like Nosferatu, Dampier.
Yeah.
They had spread out through the world. Some came to Transylvania.
Right.
Like, colder climates, longer nights.
Yeah.
But he's like, "Oh, but we went to the Caribbean." I was like, "Why would you want to go there? I think there's shorter nights there." But, it was a nice place for them to go because they could eat tourists. It was very transient until the hunters came. And wiped out all the vampires except for Eddie Murphy, which led him to come to New York because there's a supposed half human, half vampire.
Right. That was unaware that they were half.
Yeah. Which, I guess if you're just half mythical monster, you're just a psychic. we do learn later that there's like she has
or
like
you're
psychic
like Blade.
Vision. Oh, Daywalker.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he still, he still has all the vampire stuff.
Right.
He still got to feed.
Yeah.
But no, so they're so yeah, Angela Bassett freaks out. She runs out of there, and her partner named Justice follows her out. What's it called? Kadeem is able to secure the coffin. He starts bringing it into his uncle's building,
Right.
which is John Witherspoon, and he's bringing it up, and he's like, "What the hell is this coffin, man?" But then he sees Eddie Murphy. He's like, "Oh, you got a job."
Oh, yeah, you're wearing a suit.
Yeah.
You got some money.
Yeah.
Rent is triple.
Yeah. I mean, but he pays him in gold. He's like, "Hey, the trash is on Tuesdays. I'm gonna go make sure this gold is real."
I'm surprised they didn't bite it.
I know.
That's the typical.
Yeah, typical.
It's gold?
Yeah.
Let's bite it.
I guess maybe the feelings are supposed to feel it.
Well, gold has I guess it's a little bit softer metal, so you can it's got a little give if you bite it.
I guess I never had any real gold, so I never got to test it. So if you guys have a gold bar that you want me to try out,
Yeah, well, we're willing to bite gold for you guys.
bring it back. There's like a bite out of it. No, and so but Kadeem is hilarious. I think he's supposed to be the comedic relief in here,
Right?
because he annoys the hell out of Eddie Murphy.
Right. Yeah, and almost immediately stuff starts.
Pop, yeah, it starts.
He loses an ear.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he leaves an ear at the shipyard.
Yeah.
His body starts falling apart, man. But meanwhile, the cops go back to the station, and the captain is like, "Hey, there's a a Papa Midnight type of guy
Right.
at this club.
Yeah.
He's from the Caribbean. He knows all the paranormal stuff." Which I was like, these cops have taken to the paranormal situation really fast.
Right.
But this movie is only an hour and 30, so they have to.
Yeah. Justice is totally against it.
Yeah.
But she's totally for it.
I mean, yeah.
And so you kind of get that little play.
Yeah. And what's it called? Eddie Murphy tells his ghoul to, he fetches a limousine. I don't know how he gets a limousine. And his body's already falling apart. I think he loses a hand at the situation.
Which trying to clean stuff off of the windshield.
Yeah. And funny thing is, John Witherspoon is not making any comments about this boy's decaying body.
Right.
He's like, "Dang, you looking kind of bad." That's my John Witherspoon impersonation. But no, what's it called? Eddie Murphy, he knows of this Papa Midnight type of character, so they decide to go to the club as well.
Right.
And so they all kind of meet up in the club. The detectives get there first, and he looks at Angela Bassett, and he's like, "Whoa."
You're right. Yeah, he's definitely got a little. There's something about you.
Yeah, or maybe he recognizes she looked like her mom or something like that, and they're in the Caribbean at the same time. He might have known the mom as well. And so, they do the whole spiel. He's like, "Yeah, vampires and all that stuff."
Right.
And Justice is just like, "All right, whatever, dog."
And Eddie Murphy is his thing that he was talking to Keem was, but if I can get there and get her, I can't just force her
to be a vampire.
But if I can get her to dance with me, then I can seduce her, basically.
Oh yeah, use all those vampire powers. Yeah.
Right.
So they do end up running into each other. I guess there's just king cobras all over this fucking club.
Well, it's in a glass cage, but when Eddie Murphy walks in, it starts striking and breaks the glass.
Yeah, and
then nobody notices, and so it just starts crawling around.
Yeah, but Eddie Murphy, at first he approaches Rita, and she's like, "Oh, okay, whatever." And he's like, "Oh, he's like, oh, there's a killer on the loose." And she's like, "How did you know?" And he's like, "It's behind you." And he's able to kind of use his little vampire powers on the viper or the cobra, and
catch
catches
it mid strike.
Yeah, and so she's intrigued now. The danger.
Right. Yeah.
And so they start dancing a little bit, and she's like, "Oh," but then she notes that she's like, "Oh, I have to go to work."
Right, because Justice is like, "What are you doing? We're on the clock."
Yeah, we gotta go. Well,
Because he's a little smitten with her, so he's when he sees her like almost dancing, he gets a little jealous.
Yeah, but then Kadeem also comes and he's all like, "Oh, you don't know who this is? Work? That's your problem. You don't know who this is? This is Maximilian. He got a surplus of pussy." And yeah, obviously, and he's like, "Yeah," and now he's trying to fuck you.
And Angela Bassett's a slightly different class of woman, I think, than the ghoul is used to dealing with.
And so she's immediately disgusted.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, you got a surplus, and you trying to make me like another notch on the bedpost."
Right, and your very scratchy meth head ghoul just told us that. Yeah. With missing an ear and a hand. Yeah, I'm gonna listen to that.
So obviously, Eddie Murphy is kind of mad about the whole interaction.
Right.
Pulls out like a good chunk of his tongue, like stretches it out a little bit before he tells him to like just shut the fuck up.
Right.
And so Angela Bassett goes back to her place with her partner, and they seem really close because I guess when you're partners you become closer naturally,
right?
Especially when you're working cases and all this stuff. But Angela Bassett's cousin is there. What was her name? Nikki, I believe. Nikki.
Superho.
Yeah, she. My God, she was like, the only thing she didn't do was just start taking off her clothes.
Right.
Jesus.
And she's like, "Oh my God, the way you guys is talking, it's like you're in love." And they're all like, no.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Oh, you're not? Okay, well, let me
throw
myself at you." Yeah.
Pretty much just throwing the cooter at Justice, and he's like, "You know what? No, I got to leave." Meanwhile, Eddie Murphy is like stalking on the outside there.
Yep.
But no, Justice, he leaves, and like Nikki comes down. She's like, "Oh, you forgot your keys." They say that if you forget something, you didn't want to really leave in the first place.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Jeez, he's a better man than me, though. I was like, yeah, the temptations of the flesh.
Right. I guess it's cousin that lives in the same small apartment. Yeah, you can't really get away with that.
Small New York apartment.
Right.
Paper thin walls. Recently I saw like a TikTok explaining the walls like in European countries and how thick they are. And like how like they're all brick.
Okay, right. Yeah.
And then when you go to like an American home, you're like, it's hollow.
So yeah, hollow piece of drywall.
That's why sound travels so well.
Heavily painted cardboard. Yeah.
Right. We're basically in America. We're all living in paper mache homes. Mm-hmm. That's how Europeans see it. No, and so.
But while they're up in the apartment before he leaves, he sees there's paintings.
Oh yeah.
And the cousin's like, oh yeah, she has nightmares, and then that's how she deals with them is she paints pictures.
Yeah. Which is, it is a fairly common practice with psychology,
right?
Art therapy and all that stuff.
Right.
But no, and then all of a sudden through the mist again, I was like, does this guy just bring a mist machine everywhere? I don't remember New York being this misty.
Because vampires can turn into mist. So that's him traveling.
He comes out. He's like, "Oh, I guess he's not much of a man, is he?" And she's like, "Oh, and you are?" He's like, "Oh." Basically, at this point, he's just like, "Yeah," and he grabs his crotch.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, you want to come upstairs?" And so he's like, "Oh, of course." And then we cut to Angela Bassett in her room, hearing her cousin moaning, just
hardcore.
And she's so pissed because she thinks it's Justice,
right?
Which is fair. I mean, she's probably seen this time and time again that her cousin keeps stealing. Maybe she's stolen her boyfriends in the past, because later we do get a comment. She always steals everything that's mine.
I would just assume that if that had happened enough times, you would just stop bringing anybody home.
First of all, not in my house.
Or what? Yeah.
No, first of all, she wouldn't be in my house.
It was true. Yeah. Right. I guess that happens.
Once, all right, but once is enough to be like, no, you're not living with me, bro.
Right. Yep.
So like she takes her painting supplies out and she starts painting on the little New York patio, which is the fire escape.
Right.
And what's it called? But all of a sudden, her cousin starts getting murdered by Eddie Murphy.
Right. As the train goes by, so you can't really hear the screams.
Well, yeah, because you don't know if those are good screams or those are bad screams.
Right.
And the language in here is pretty graphic. She's like, yeah, fuck me, yeah, say my whose pussy is this? But in the morning, she goes into Nikki's room and she sees a note. She's like, oh, I finally found a man that can make the room spin. And so I'm going to find my own place so we can really, walk around in our business.
Yep.
And she's livid at
Oh,
this
yeah.
point, and so, what's it called? I know she doesn't go to the church yet, right? Or does? No, she does. She does go to the church because that's her first, like, sort of like a fight.
Yes.
After the whole situation, but then Eddie Murphy is super pissed. She's like, "Oh, why does she have to go to a church?" And this is the first time we get a Eddie Murphy double.
Yeah.
Because the priest is Eddie Murphy, a little chunkier. It's pretty much his suit from Coming to America. And he kills the priest. And what's it called? He I guess he drinks his blood, suck the life force, and he's able to. He's like a mess. Only a massive vampire can transform themselves.
Right. Assume the form of the
his
priest.
victims. Yeah. And so Angela Bassett comes and they're kind of talking, and he's like, "Oh well, sometimes evil is all right." But then like the choir comes and gets him, and then he goes into a church. His head starts smoking, and he's like, "Oh, goddamn!" Church is like, "Oh my god, the priest just said that," and he's like, "Goddamn those that don't follow the teachings."
Yep. And he's like, such a beautiful night. We should do the service out on the lawn.
Yeah. Which is not even a lawn, it's like the middle of the street.
Right, yeah.
And so he does his little Eddie Murphy improv here.
Right.
Where he's like, son, without evil, without the dark, the light cannot shine.
Right.
So situation.
So isn't he a little evil, a little good?
Yeah. He starts like calling people. He starts calling out his practitioners, like, "Oh, Brother Johnson over there had sex with a $2 hooker, but wasn't it good?" It's just like kind of decimating this entire congregation, And then what's it called? Justice comes and he's like, "Hey, Captain is looking for us. I knew you'd be here." And she's like, "Oh," and then like Eddie Murphy does a little vampire mind trick onto Angela Bassett. He's like, "Oh, he fucked Nikki."
Yeah.
And so she's like, "You fucked my cousin, didn't you?" He's like, "Oh, there we go. See?" Nikki, the whore of Babylon. Which I believe is Lilith. Is supposed to be the whore of Babylon in the Bible. And so obviously they get into the whole situation, and what's it called? The weather is getting bad because we have a vampire being a priest, doing all this bad stuff. So he like sends a little rain and kind of trickles everyone out. But Justice tells Angela Bassett, like, we gotta lead. We gotta go to the Italians,
right?
Because that was like their port or something like that. For probably all the drugs.
Oh, right, yeah. Because usually there was a lot of mob run ports. That way the Teamsters could control what came in and out.
Yeah, so they end up going there. We do see another person come out. He's probably like a low level mob person. He's like, he's just not cut out for the business, Benny. Eddie Murphy ends up killing him to assume that identity. And he comes into the Italian place where the detectives are. So has a stick up in the whole situation, but he ends up getting caught. He ends up shooting a cat, which I was like, as I was watching this, oh no, that probably hurt Colby the most. He's like, why couldn't it have been a dog?
My brain just made it a dog, because at the beginning when you said he blew up the dog, I was like, because later on he blows up another dog. And then you're right, it is a cat. I thought vampires and animals got along better, but animals hate him in this.
No, well, see, what's it called? Cats are for witches. Yeah, familiars.
Okay, right.
They get to have familiars. No,
yeah, but there's
I
the
just,
dog, then the snake, and now the cat.
I just don't feel like cats get killed enough in horror. It's always a dog.
And then when they get killed, they're still alive because they got 9 of them.
But it's always the dog that gets killed in horror films. It's just enough so that there's I believe, was it you that told me that there's a website called dogdies.com or something? It's like
I don't think it was me, but that seems like if I saw that, I would bring it up.
It was like doesthedogdie.com. It's like a list of movies where like a dog dies, so people can kind of like, skip those movies.
Right.
But no, and so yeah, Eddie Murphy ends up getting caught, and he gets into the station, and he's just causing all sort of discord between the two detectives.
Right.
He's like, "Yeah, you just an asshole," all that stuff, and they're telling him to shut up, and he's like, "Oh, I remember you. Yeah, you was with Nikki from Best Eye." And so because like before he said that, like Justice was almost kind of closing the distance. Like trying to almost being able to clear up the misunderstanding.
Right. Yeah.
And then
also before they get arrested, while they're in the Italian restaurant, he's kind of like probing for like information.
He's like, what kind of food you like?
Yeah, if this is our last meal, what kind of food you gonna eat?
Yeah, what kind of wine you drink?
Yeah.
And so obviously ends up causing more discourse between them. Rita ends up getting suspended for like 3 days or something like that.
Right. Oh, yeah, because she slaps Justice.
Yeah, and then what's it called? Eddie Murphy's able to kind of slip out of the whole situation by causing a distraction by what's it called? The lady who was like the Babylon, the demons.
Yeah. Yep.
Who was actually the mom from People Underneath the Stairs.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, she was one of the dominatrix things, I believe. And so he's able to he saves Rita again.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, how about I cook you dinner? The only thing I know how to cook is the pasta that you like, and how about some red wine?" It is pretty much Hitch.
Right. Yeah.
Did
yeah.
his work.
She's like, "Oh."
Yeah. And he's like, I'll have my car send for you. So I was like, oh, damn, okay.
Right.
At first she was like, no, but he's like, oh, is there someone else? She's like, no, not anymore.
Yeah.
And so
Justice is gone.
Yeah, Justice fucked Nikki, so he's dirty goods.
Right.
No, and so but Justice tries to like he goes to Rita's place to try to make up, and he's kind of like hyping himself up in the car like all men do when they would. The worst part is like it's still applicable to what all men do because he's in the car apologizing for something that he didn't. But you still gotta apologize.
Right, yep.
But it's funny, he's like trying to cycle through it, and he's like, damn it, woman, I need you to sit down and listen.
And of course, that's right when she walks out and hears him say that.
She hears the outburst, but she doesn't hear, like, am I stupid? That's gotta be the dumbest thing ever. Oh, man. But, no, and he's like, damn, where you going? Because she's looking nice.
Right. Yeah, she's dressed to the nines.
My God, I would not be able to focus if like a girl went out like that. Like it's like sexy but classy.
Right.
It's like,
and that's hot.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, what's it called? Kadeem comes in with the limo, and he's like, "Oh, I guess I'll just get a pizza." And then as soon as she's in the car, he's like, "You ain't getting no pizza."
I live around here. There ain't no pizza around here.
You gonna go to Blockbuster and get a movie? Yeah, jack off. Such an asshole. He's such a dick. Oh man, but they at first she enters this sketchy building and it's like graffiti on the wall and everything. But when she goes, you hear Eddie Murphy is like, oh, if she came a minute too soon, she would have seen all the spells I was casting to make this place look decent.
Beautiful, yeah.
And it does. It looks super, like, very 90s classy
Right,
type of situation.
5-star hotel kind of.
Yeah, and she's like, damn. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I just bought the building. I'm trying to renovate slowly. And she's super impressed. He like, when she enters, he's like playing the grand piano. I was like, damn, what an entrance. I was like, I need to learn the piano.
Right. It's red wine chilling.
Yeah, so, and they had, he has an original Picasso.
Yep.
You just have like $1 million painting just over a fireplace.
Right, because she had a postcard of it at her apartment or something.
Yeah, and she's a painter, so she's probably studied painting and all that stuff. So, and so they have this night. It's beautiful and very romantic, and they start dancing, which he said,
right,
all I need is the dance.
Yep.
Which I was like, I like that line because it's just like, it kind of reminds me of Nick Frost is obviously Simon Pegg's partner. He had a movie where he was like a ballroom dancing movie.
Okay.
I don't know I guess you probably never seen it. It's hilarious though, but it just reminded me of that.
Right.
Because I think there's a character like, all you need is dance, pose. But no, and Eddie Murphy is like laying it thick. He's like, don't you want to be free? And all this, and he's like, all you have to do is say yes, and she's getting entranced.
Totally.
And she's like, yes, and then proceeds to bite her.
Right.
Justice in the morning comes to Kadim's building because he had been investigating Kadim.
Right.
He went to his lady's house and all that stuff, but he meets John Witherspoon, and John was like, oh, you don't recognize me? You're supposed to be a cop. Just remember faces.
Right, because they were the ones who had the interview at the very beginning.
And he was like, oh, who you looking for? That lady? Oh, I'll tell you right now, that brother upstairs, man, he be getting all sort of tang up there.
She left the building walking boldly.
Yeah. And he was like, bang, bang, bang. Which is like his key phrase from the Wayans Brothers show. He just... I knew this had to be like what's it, not like improv or something, because he's like going on for a cool while. You're like, I don't even know how she walking.
Right.
But she walking boat legged. I'm talking about bang bang.
That's like Charlie Murphy's like writing the script, and like at that point he's just like, and free flow, and then just kind of skip to the bottom of the page.
Yeah, he's like, make him
scene.
feel bad.
Yeah.
And Justice is just pretty distraught, as anybody would, finding out the girl that they like are in love with has had I apparently amazing sex.
Yeah.
But he gets a call from the captain, and he's like, hey, he gets a radio that there's like a body on top of a building. They're like, how did this get here? And it turns up to be Nikki.
Right.
So he ends up going to Rita's place, trying to wake her up, and he tells her the news, and she's distraught, but then she starts kissing his neck and all that stuff, and it's getting kind of heavy, but it's getting really heavy. She's ripping off her clothes, freaking
nail gouging his back.
Yeah, which I've had a couple times.
It's
I remember the first time it happened, I was like, why is, when you like the scab over?
Yeah.
Like, what is,
oh, it hurts so good.
No, but then she sees herself disappear in the mirror, so she's super like, she freaks out. She goes into she goes to Eddie Murphy's house, and she's like, what did you do to me? Why? And Kadim is like, oh, you a vampire now? Dang. What about me, boss? But, and then obviously Eddie Murphy's trying to calm her down. She's like, no, fuck you. And then, what's it called? And then he lays it on. He's like, your father told me to come get you.
Right. Yeah, I knew your father.
Yeah. He's the one that sent me to you.
Yeah. And
he explains the whole lineage. He's like, your mother was a human, but he was a vampire. They fell in love, and, they had you, and that's when she went crazy.
Vampire hunters killed him.
Yeah, and all that stuff. And And he's like, I'm trying to give you freedom. And he like super cool. I like the scene where he kind of steps off the building and is like floating in the air.
Right.
Super cool. I was like, jeez, not a dry penny in the fucking house.
And it was a really interesting the way he kind of like used his like long coat cape thing to kind of like push himself.
Yeah.
Like it was wings, which I appreciated. Because lots of times you got somebody float and then they just kind of float away and then you're like,
it's kind of lame Peter Pan.
Yeah, how do you? No wind. How do you move in?
So like, you know, at that point, what's it called? Justice goes to, you know, Papa Midnight to the club and
because when he's leaving, he also sees the painting.
Oh, of them kissing.
And and he's like, oh, this is the.
Yeah, she's been turned.
Right, and he had seen the painting that she had painted earlier, which was her cousin Nikki dead hanging, but it was just it's an abstract painting, so you couldn't see like
the details.
But it was like, whoa, that's the same position, same person.
Yeah, and so you know he puts two and two together. He's like, oh, maybe she's a vampire now. Right. So he goes to Papa Midnight and he's like, we have to stop her from feeding. Yeah. And we cut to a scene of like, you know, she's kind of accepted it, or maybe she's like, okay, Eddie Murphy has manipulated her into, all right, let's become a vampire. You know? And so Eddie Murphy ends up killing this like lady who's walking her dog. Yeah. And she couldn't do it.
Yeah. Cause it's like you're turning into a vampire, but you're not really a vampire till you take your first drink. Yeah,
or you feed for the first time, right? And so Justice is kind of scrambling at this point, and so Rita starts to flock towards the church because you know she's a woman of faith,
right?
And all that stuff. But then you know she faints from probably not feeding.
Yeah,
and so Eddie Murphy brings her back to the derelict building that they live in.
Right, yeah, because he keeps saying if you don't feed soon, you're gonna die.
Yeah. And so Justice ends up going there with the police and everything. And Kadeem tries to like ward them off, but then he falls over and his eye pops out. At this point, he's looking like Deadpool.
Yeah, right.
Really good prosthetics.
Yeah.
Right.
It's good makeup.
Yeah. And so and Eddie Murphy kind of escapes with Rita into another room, puts her into the coffin and all that stuff, and then Justice goes in there, and then now Rita is full vamped out right now.
Right.
She's so hungry. She's like starving. And so they get
and Eddie Murphy's pretty demon-faced vampire.
Oh, it's like his true form.
Yeah. What would you call him? Papa Shango?
Papa Midnight.
Papa Midnight.
Yeah.
He's come and he's got like a staff with a pokey staff.
Oh yeah, it's a vampire hunting staff. You know? By the way, if anyone's wondering why I'm calling him Papa Midnight, it's not like a racist thing. He's the voodoo character from John Constantine from Hellblazer. He's like the voodoo king, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. So
this guy's he plays this part
everywhere.
It's the same actor, so it's
But so they have like the fight and everything, which I was like, you know what, Justice is kind of holding his own against like this how old vampire.
Right.
You know, he's doing pretty decent, but he gets knocked out by Rita because she's like, it's over, it's too late.
Yeah, there's no saving me.
Yeah, there's nothing. But then the staff kind of rolls out of his hand. And as Rita is like kind of punching him and everything, she slyly grabs the staff and goes to kiss Eddie Murphy, and he's like, "Finally, you're gonna take your first blood," you know?
Right. Yep.
But Rita ends up killing Eddie Murphy,
stabbing him through the heart because he gets stabbed earlier, and he's like, "Well, this is my stomach. You can't kill a vampire stabbing him in the stomach. Yeah. You gotta stab him in the heart. You know better."
Yeah, but then Eddie Murphy is like, "I told you you were a killer."
Yeah,
and he goes into like his coffin, and the whole building kind of explodes.
Right.
Or not the whole building, but the top floor.
Yeah, as is appropriate when you kill the head vampire.
Yeah, I don't know if he's head because remember they
He's the last, so now he's
of the
head.
Caribbeans.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
He was the last of the Caribbean vampires.
Yes.
Which I guess is still kind of cool. I for me, I would probably want to go somewhere with longer nights, like Russia. I think they have like long nights, right?
Right. Yeah, and if you're dead, you don't get cold, so it doesn't really matter.
So it doesn't really matter, and you have a longer time at the buffet. Like that one. Oh God, have you ever heard of that one Russian city that's like it gets up to like -71? Have you heard of that?
That's cold.
Yeah, they say like they never turn off their cars. You can't, because if you do,
the fluids freeze.
Yeah, but I'm like, why live there?
Right. Yeah.
Like no one even has a refrigerator. They just hang shit out of the window and shit, like, or they just have one room where they open the window and it's just a fucking. Oh, I don't want to. That's not living anymore. Yeah. They say you can't even like walk around. You definitely can't walk around bareskin because it's gonna necrosis and all that stuff.
Right. Right. 3 seconds outside and your skin freezes.
Yeah, it's terrible. But no, yeah, and so the whole thing explodes. Eddie Murphy's ring falls out of the window during the explosion.
Right.
Nikki and what's it called? Not Nikki. Rita and Justice end up they end up kissing. Rita is no longer a full vampire. She's still a half vampire psychic.
Right, but she's no longer got the bloodlust.
Yeah, no longer the bloodlust, right? I mean, she's probably gonna live a little bit longer than a human, right?
Maybe.
Right, she should.
Right,
should have vampire, just get some blood transfusion.
Yeah.
But what's it called? John Witherspoon and Kadeem end up getting out of the building. Like, oh my god, damn it.
Right, yeah, and then it blows up, and they're like, oh, I guess he's gone. We can't ever go back there.
I guess you're out of a job. He's like, damn. But at least I got this car. And so they end up going into the car. Kadeem is in the back because he's been always in the front driving, and then John Witherspoon.
And John Witherspoon's kind of like, you can't drive. You're missing an arm and a hand. Oh, right, because in the fight he gets an arm
torn off. But so John Witherspoon goes, "Damn, this is nice. We're surrounded by leather." Kadeem opens up the moonroof, which is where the ring landed.
Yep.
And he's like, oh, this is my boss's. Well, I guess he ain't gonna need this no more. And he like puts it on, he starts posing with it, and then
poof.
And boy, he's just like the freshest looking vampire ever, Like, I guess that ring had gold chains on it, a full suit, some dreadlocks.
It carried more than the Flash's ring does.
Gave him back his arm, his eye. He was looking so bad.
Both ears.
He looked like a burn victim. It was so gross. And John Witherspoon was like, oh, I guess you the boss now. And he was like, yeah. I guess Brooklyn got a new vampire by the name of Julius Jones.
Yep.
Which is a really cool vampire name.
It is. It is. I don't know how you become a vampire by just putting it on a ring, but
different lore.
But I guess if he did, like, he is a ghoul because of the vampire blood, maybe something in that. Right. They don't explain it, but
I was thinking he was just gonna turn into Eddie Murphy.
Right. Yeah.
But no, and then the movie just ends right there.
Yep.
All right. Before we get into all the trivia that I had acquired for this movie, we have our other section. We have high star, low star.
We got a 10 out of 10. Well, that's the title. When this movie came out, it was refreshing and entertaining. If you think it's supposed to be a serious movie with Eddie Murphy, come on. You bumped your head. This movie was hilarious. It's creative in one of the you have to come along with coming to America, Tales from the Hood, and Friday. So enjoy it. It's art. Thanks, Wes Craven. Man, I even like The People Under the Stairs. I got all the Eddie Murphy movies. I don't want to spoil the movie. Of course, it's 2014, so watching this movie would probably be too slow for you, but it has a build-up and a twist. Give all the 80s and 90s movies a chance. Peace.
I don't know if you're supposed to say that. I might have to bleep that one out. But yeah, just for context, it was what was written on the review.
It is. I did not ad-lib.
Yeah. And then we got a 1 out of 10. Eddie Murphy stars as a vampire from Egypt who is looking for a woman he believes is the last of his kind. I was seriously hoping that this would be that good. Can't be kind of bad, but really it's just bad, kind of bad. A few jokes in it fall painfully, embarrassingly flat. The love story is incredibly shallow. Eddie has a Jerry curl mullet. Angela Bassett realizes about halfway through the movie that there is no Oscar to be had for this one and gives up. In fact, it seems everyone gave up halfway. But the ending goes on for far way too long. If you want a funny, in that unintentional way, vampire flick, watch Queen of the Damned, which I don't believe was funny. It was just bad, I think. I can't believe someone paid money to have this movie made. So some of the trivia that I learned from this was, so at this point in Eddie Murphy's career, he was kind of petering downwards. You know, that he wasn't bringing in the same numbers that he was with like another 48 Hours and all that stuff, Coming to America. They said like Beverly Hills 3, which I personally is kind of my favorite one. Kind of didn't do too well during the box office. And he only had one more movie on his contract with Paramount.
Okay.
So, they decided to do this because his brother wrote it, but Wes Craven wanted to come into it too, just because he wanted to bolster up his filmography, I guess.
Right. And
so they came in. There was just a whole bunch of like conflict during the whole filming of the movie. They said like Angela Bassett Angela Bassett was probably one of the more professional ones on the set.
Okay.
Because there's a couple times where Eddie Murphy wouldn't come out of his trailer. He didn't like the changes for the writing that Wes Craven had done and all that stuff. Sometimes even he was supposed to be in the boat scene. Okay. But that's why they put the wolf instead, because he was like, I don't want to do that. I don't know. This is just hearsay. This is like what some people had said. There's a couple times Angela Bassett had to just act with a stand-in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there's just, and I guess at this point, Eddie Murphy just didn't want to do Paramount movies anymore. Right. Maybe they're kind of, and then there was also like a whole lot of like hearsay versus, Eddie and Charlie wanted this movie to just be a straight horror film and not want the comedy in it. Wes Craven wanted the comedy in it.
Okay.
Some people said like Eddie Murphy couldn't be serious. And he kept kind of like going back into trying to be funny as like his fallback, his comfort zone and all that stuff. So yeah, there was just a tumultuous amount of issues. I don't know if I used that word right.
No, I think that's correct.
It's funny with this is how bad technology has like kind of messed up my like vocabulary. Because I used to like read a lot.
Right.
Which I mean I still do. But like as far as like writing and stuff, not so much anymore. Not as much as like when we were going to school.
Oh right, yeah, of course.
But the introduction of like autocorrect and and like text to speech or speech to text.
Right.
Like sometimes I'll just go on my phone and I'll like tumultuous. How do you spell that?
Yeah.
It's like, oh what? Oh my brain is rotting. I need some sort of maybe I should pick up crosswords or something like that. Which is like totally. Have you noticed that for you?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even try to spell anymore. I'm just like, spell check. We'll correct this for me.
Oh, that's so bad. And like I think at this point too, for the both of us, most of our English leans towards like corporate America, like corporate English.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, your most keywords are like, oh, as per my last email. Hey, just wanted to touch base with you. But then again, like, how often are you using the word tumultuous? Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah. The big words, the literary words and the scientific words don't get used very often anymore. They just now, like when I try to say something and sound, like educated, it like you said, it's just kind of there's a very narrow path that it goes down.
Yeah, and then like also just like how often are you really using that in your everyday like speech?
Right.
Know?
Yeah.
Like tremendous. Like that's not a big word, but like how often are you using that? You're just probably gonna be like, yeah, that was a huge headache. Not that was a tremendous issue that I had to deal with today.
Right. Yes. Exactly. Yep.
Oh, Kobe. So why'd you pick this movie?
Because I remember seeing it, and I think I've only seen it once before. I remember seeing it, and it's Eddie Murphy, so I was like, I actually in my memory receptors, I remembered Eddie Murphy being a good guy, and the love story being more him like swooning her, and then them living, surviving the vampires together, kind of thing. Not him turning out to be the bad guy and having a.
Was he bad though? He was just trying to find love.
Right. And if you're a vampire, he was definitely a good guy. But if you were Justice, he was a bad guy.
Yeah. He was trying to take his woman,
It's true. He made it very much, it was humans against vampires.
Yeah. I mean, especially when you're like whole kind, at least your whole kind in the Caribbeans get exterminated.
Right. Yeah. If you got hunters coming after you, then
because I mean, like when you're a bully, you don't remember your victims. Only the victims remember you.
Yes.
That's such a trope too. Like especially like I consume a fair amount of like Korean dramas and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But there's always like situations. Like I think like I wouldn't say I'm the only one now, just because Netflix produces so much now. That I feel like a fair amount of the Western world has gotten a hold of Korean dramas, but there's like that huge one, The Glory. I don't know. I feel like you and Teresa should watch that. I feel like that's something that you guys could. I think there's English dubs, so Teresa could watch that. But like that was based on a real case where like a group of schoolgirls were bullying this one girl. Like they had like put curling iron to her skin. It's pretty, it's pretty graphic, and I'm like, there's been a bunch of articles that I've seen because I think for my anthropology like class I did a whole deep dive on like Korean society and stuff like that. But there's like a huge bullying situation. Obviously it's a very they don't have a monarch there, but it's kind of like whoever has the money is king. Mm-hmm. And like a group of those girls were like fairly rich, and so whatever trouble they get into, they could just pay their way out of it.
Buy their way out, yeah.
And so that one had like a, like the girl who got bullied, like, she had planned later to fuck up their lives and all that stuff. And they're like, oh, I don't remember that. All the bullies in there. So, Eddie Murphy, obviously to him, the humans are the problem. They were just feeding. What was wrong? I was just eating.
Right. Survival. That's all. It's...
Which is, I mean, you could definitely make a fair case because you could be like, look at you humans, and then like as a villain goes on his like whole spews, like it's just a whole bunch of fast food places, people eating fucking burgers and shit. You consume so much animals. You've done more, you've done way worse than what we have done.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Oh, I had a question for you, right? Okay, so. If you were Eddie Murphy in this whole situation and you're going to set up base in New York, what kind of vampire would you be like? Would you be like one of those grandiose vampires?
Interesting. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, because I mean, like you're all powerful, like really. So yeah, I mean, like you could kind of play any part So do you become like the lord of the city? Do you try to be the playboy? I think my brain says I want to be the playboy. It's probably not the part that I would play, in reality.
Well, you're the only vampire, so now you have to start from scratch. So technically you're the king right now,
Right.
At least in North America.
Yeah.
Saying that's like saying that like there's not other vampire like clans out there, because I was like thinking about it. I was like, oh man, if obviously vampire hunters are a very real thing in his whole situation.
Right.
So I was like,
Right.
all right, I feel like the only way to play it is you got to be low key vampire, not too grandiose. You start building up your little vampire army slowly. You tell everybody like, hey, listen, only feed on the homeless, or something like that. Which is like
drink dirty blood.
Well, no, like you have to teach them like no blood is dirty, and to grow as a whole,
Right, right.
before we can Ethan Hawke this whole situation. He was in a movie with like vampires were like king, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a day something or whatever.
Something I was like actually just kind of thinking about that, where it ended up being like there was like too many vampires.
Yeah,
right?
too many vampires, but you gotta set it up like, hey, listen, only feed on people that aren't gonna be missed.
Right.
Save up some blood. You gotta be low key, man. I mean, and then like after you take over, like your little part of New York, then go a little bit more grandiose. Then start being the playboy. Like,
Right.
You will want me. All right. But I'd be like, hey, listen, man, none of that weird Anne Rice vampire stuff. All right, like, listen, I'm cool. It's cool if you guys want to do whatever you guys want to do, but we don't have to be all leather.
Right. Yes.
What were some of your favorite parts in this movie?
It was. I really liked both the parts that Eddie Murphy played that he was not a vampire. I liked him as the vampire too. Kind of like you said, that it was a strange twist to see him play that serious of a part. So it like the both the part when he played the Italian guy and when he played the preacher, those both were hilarious and totally threw me back to like old Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, or just classic Eddie Murphy.
It's I love that like he did like a whole bunch of movies where he chose to play multiple parts in the movie.
Yeah.
Not just this one, but Coming to America. There's a bunch of movies where he plays.
Yeah, it's sort of his signature at this point. Man, I gotta say, like, I think my favorite parts were Eddie Murphy was being the vampire, because I felt like he kind of. I kind of wish, like, as much as I enjoyed the comedic bits of this movie, I would have actually really liked to see him play it like just straight.
Like if they did it as a straight horror movie.
Yeah, just a straight. Because I felt like the vampire bits that he did was like, he was pretty vicious. He like Kali Ma'd somebody at
Right.
the first official kill of the movie. He Kali Ma'd that Italian guy, pulled out his heart.
Right.
And like okay, so he had a joke a little bit after that where like Kadeem was like, "Oh, I'll get you some food, man. You hungry or something?" He's like, "I've just had Italian." And I was like, "See, like you can do the serious thing, but have like little bits of that."
Like
It's
little, like a little Han Solo kind of like.
yeah, it's very dad pun.
Yeah.
But it's it's a little bit of levity. I think, but I think it would have been really cool to see this have been played straight.
Right.
Maybe as
You certainly would have not used.
John Witherspoon and Kadeem.
Right. They would have been replaced. Because I don't see either one of them playing serious enough to make this actual horror movie.
Like, yeah, or I think I would I would have also been fine if John Witherspoon was just still being John Witherspoon, because he's such a it's such a New York type of thing,
Right.
Like that kind of character, which it wouldn't have felt so out of place. But then you just take out the Kadeem as the ghoul.
Right.
Situation, and it's like, all right, whatever. This was, and it would have been really cool to see it scary. I think I think the makeup for Eddie Murphy when he starts to go full vamp.
Right. That's great. And yeah, I mean, you would just play the Kadeem part as more of like a Renfield part.
Yeah, but obviously the what's it called, the special effects were good. Very very minimal.
And realistically, for being a movie that's 30 years old, special effects held up really well.
Yeah, but we've always said that, like when you use practical effects, it stands the test of time.
It does.
Somehow, because like I actually recently just rewatched Terminator 2, and I was like, as much as it holds up, obviously the technology wasn't there for the T-2000 to look as cool.
Right.
Obviously the story's still solid. But like now, it's obviously starting to get dated. with at least the T-2000, or is it T-2000 or T-1000? I forgot which model. Is Arnold's model the T-100?
Yeah. Oh man,
it's been a long time.
Right.
But
yeah, no, I know what you mean. Like that computer liquid form is not quite.
Yeah.
Where it was so awesome then, and now it's.
But it looks good when he hardens it.
Yeah.
It still looks good. So, but yeah, for this movie, I think everything. The story. It's an hour and 30. It's a little shy above a full moon runtime.
Right.
And obviously, I think if they were to redo this movie today, I think you got to push that to like almost a little bit to 2.
Right, at least 145. Another 15 minutes
would have serviced this a little bit better, just because like then you could really kind of build up the relationship that he's trying to, like, first of all, you want to, like, obviously why is he so fascinated by this half vampire? They say he's like the last of them, but I was like, no, because there's in the beginning they said the family went to all different places of the world.
Right.
So why
kind of like you said, it was like maybe it's the last Caribbean vampire.
Yeah. And maybe he didn't want to go to the other clans because then maybe he'd start off like mid management.
Right. Yeah.
Or maybe he just wanted to build another empire for himself.
Right. And hey, you never know. Like, they didn't go into that at all, but it's maybe every clan in every part of the world is not friendly. Like, they're like, hey, we're
the purest,
right,
type of situation. Yeah, maybe. So so there's a lot of like holes in it. Like, it would have been cool to see like a little bit of Rita's backstory with her parents. Like, these are the small things that you would probably add to a remake,
right? Yeah,
to really flesh out the rest of the story. I think the bones of it is still there. It was still fairly enjoyable as far, it's just like some of the things were kind of like, you kind of left it to like, oh, well, Rita and Justice have probably been partners for a really long time, and maybe that's how they develop feelings for each other. There's a lot of guesswork that you have to just kind of put in there, but I feel like that's like par for the course for a lot of 90s films. Did you? Yeah, sorry.
No, good.
Oh no, I was gonna say, did you watch this when it first came out, or?
I didn't see this in theaters, so I probably rented it. I probably blockbustered it back in the day. But yeah, I saw it probably pretty close to after it came out.
Mm-hmm. What did you like? Do you remember your thoughts on it the first time?
I remember enjoying it, but I didn't remember a whole lot. I couldn't even remember if I really liked it or kind of liked it. Like I said, when I was thinking back, I even remembered it as Eddie Murphy got the girl, and then it was like they saved the vampires.
Yeah, what was it called? I can see, or I could at least imagine you maybe not enjoying it as much back then, just because it was so jarring to see Eddie Murphy in a different role too. Because that's what the case was for me.
Yeah,
I was like, no, he's Axel.
Right. So why isn't he making more jokes?
Yeah.
But
Well,
I really liked Kadeem back then. And that was kind of like his
he was.
peak. And then he, like I said, after this, he kind of disappeared.
I kind of wondered too. I was like, because like I enjoyed A Different World growing up, watching it with my older cousin, basically my sister. At that point, I was just like, oh yeah, I enjoyed watching him in there. I thought he was pretty funny. It was just like, because I watched Saved by the Bell, and A Different World was just
Right.
black Saved by the Bell. Or maybe Saved by the No, Saved by the Bell came out like what, like late 80s?
So like it was a spin-off of the Cosby Show because the daughter went to college and then
Yeah, that's pretty much it, right? Yeah. So yeah, and man, I always wanted those glasses that he had.
oh, I totally always remember that. And then I actually ended up getting a pair, and when I got them, I was like, these are so dorky. Why did he made them so cool? And then that show ended, and I eventually got a pair, and then I was like, I wore them a few times. And I was like, these are terrible.
Yeah, because sometimes like some things just don't fit for you.
Right.
Like, were you like, I can't pull these off.
Right. Oh yeah.
These look dorky on me.
Right. Yes.
Yeah,
I look like I'm like a poser. I'm like trying to be somebody I'm not.
Oh, right. You're the guy walking around with a skateboard. Yeah. You're like, why aren't you on it? He's like, I'm just tired.
I wasn't good, but I could skate. I skated.
Oh, I couldn't. I terrible balance. With like, I tried skateboarding for a bit. I tried like skating.
Oh, like inline skating?
Yeah, inline skating for a bit. The only thing that I ever took was like a bike.
Yeah.
I couldn't get it. It was just like I think I could never get to the point where I could relax on it. Because they say like if you're too tense, you're gonna eat shit. So
Yeah.
and with the bike, I've fallen off my bike a fair amount of times. I think I remember I flipped over my handlebars one time because I think I was trying to pop my wheel. I was like riding like not too fast, probably like 5 miles or something. Just cruising on my bike, and I try to pop it up the sidewalk, and I end up doing it too early, getting stuck, and then flipping over.
Yep.
And I think I remember just laying on the ground for a bit, like.
I did the same kind of thing, and I remember with my friends, and I thought for sure I broke my arm, and had my friends like go get my mom from like 2 blocks away.
Mom.
I wasn't crying, but it was like I can't get back on the bike with a broken arm, and it wasn't broken.
No, but with the bike I could always get back on. But with like, oh man, I think I stopped trying to skateboard when I tried to go down a driveway. I was like, too fast, and then I hit my elbow. I was like, my elbow hurts.
Right. I was a decent enough skater that I could do the little half pipe thing.
Oh.
I couldn't do like a trick at the end,
Yeah.
but I could like pop up onto the end and then go back in and then pop up on the other side. I could never like.
You got on a half pipe?
I could never kick flip or anything like that.
Oh, but you got on a half pipe.
Yeah.
That's scary.
So it just had it was good enough balance that I could stay on it, but I couldn't.
I could never.
Never got out like a trick.
Yeah. So like so you could always drop into those pools.
Yeah. Right.
Because it's like a half pipe, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, no, I would never have thought.
Right. There was no real skate park, so I didn't ever like push myself to like do anything.
I know you were still like in the early Tony Hawk stages, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, you're probably at that time you were probably trying to emulate Rodney Mullen, the OG street skate guy.
I remember, but Tony Hawk was huge. In college I faked owning a business so I could get a free pass to get into CES.
Yeah.
Because Tony Hawk was there promoting something so that I could go in and meet him.
Did you get to meet him?
I got to meet him.
Oh, cool guy.
Yeah. It was like fanboy meet. So it was like, hey, shook his hand, and then it was like, next kind of thing. You know,
you didn't try to bring your old skateboard? Can you sign this?
No, because I don't know. I wasn't gonna go like to CES with a skateboard.
Well, I mean, like Tony Hawk is there.
He is, and I don't know. I can't even remember why he was there.
Probably, maybe the Tony Hawk 1 came out. Pro Skater.
Oh, maybe it was video games.
Maybe something like that. You know, it was like the first of its kind.
Right.
As far as like a good skateboarding game.
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
I know a lot of people that logged in hundreds of hours just playing those games, and then just got ridiculous. I think after the Tony Hawk 3 or something. This is stupid.
I played a lot of video games too, and I was good at console games. I was never very good at like computer games.
Yeah, he was never part of the master race.
Yeah. But skating games, that was never my jam.
Really?
Never. I was always terrible at those.
Was it? I think because I think my favorite skating game though was like Skate 1, which was because it was just much more realistic.
Right.
Like you weren't freaking launching off a vert off the top of a building, landing on the ground, just A-okay. Yeah. Skate was cool. I remember Skate being really cool because, your whole goal was to get on a magazine and, become a pro. So you're like skating around the city trying to do these tricks. That was actually really fun. And then I think Skate 3 then started to devolve into freaking Tony Hawk 4 legend status where you're like freaking trying to vert off a bridge.
Right. So sorry, I'm totally not vampires at all.
Oh, I know, sorry, guys.
At one time we had a special guest, Rick Danger. So at the comic store, we always had computers or consoles hooked up to the TV so you could play the first one. And Rick Danger came in, and he was absolutely the very best person I ever saw at a skating game. And then we tried to do some game tournaments, and he always refused to play. And it turned out that he refused to play because when I watched him be the best, he had put in some cheat code that made it so you never fell or something And I had no idea that he had done that, and I was just in awe of this little scrawny kid being so good at this game.
Oh, at least he had the integrity to not enter the tournament.
I don't think he would be able to put
the codes in without everybody noticing.
Everybody noticing.
Yeah. That too. But I want to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
But no, as far as vampire movies, I think this was this had when I first watched it, I didn't think I enjoyed it. So when you brought it up, I was like, oh man, I don't know if I'll enjoy that. And then going through, I was like, oh okay. I was probably a little shy of understanding dark comedy. The dark horror and the comedy aspects of this movie. But we're coming up to our limit right now. So guys, if you guys want to check out our other months, we have a bunch of months for you guys to check out.
Yeah, we have a non-DC or Marvel superhero month.
Yeah, video game adaptation month. Anime live adaptation month.
Oh, that was a fun month.
We got a good chunk for you guys. I'm pretty sure Colby's on the back burner of wanting to make a Godzilla month one of these days.
I keep thinking, man, maybe we do just a kaiju month.
A kaiju, so you can slip in a Godzilla film here or there.
But then it's not just 4 Godzilla movies.
I know. Yeah, I don't know how we stretch that out. But no. But if this is the first time you guys are joining us, welcome. And we do our reviews in 4 different sections. We have Stream It, DVD It, Blu-ray It, and the Ultimate Box Collection. Colby, where are you at?
This was enjoyable. I would definitely watch this again. I would share this with people. I would own this. I don't know if there's anything Blu-ray that's
worthy
of the upsell. So it may just be DVD.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same route as well. I'm pretty sure there's not going to be a lot of behind the scenes stuff because of the
I
the,
was right,
the troubled
especially now that you said that. I'm
production
like, ugh.
situation. I'm pretty sure not a lot of people, even if they re-release this, like Scream House re-released this, I don't think a lot of the old people that worked on this whole thing want to talk about it.
Right,
Just
yeah.
because of the difficulty of filming and everything. But yeah, no, I think this would be a fine collection for like, even as just a DVD, because they say, like, especially because of the age of this movie.
Right.
Putting like a lot of these older movies onto like Blu-rays, if they're not like a collection onto one disc, usually the quality becomes worse just because you try to high def something that doesn't.
Right, and then this was another one of those. It was one of those ones where it was like I really had difficulty. I picked this movie, and then because I just assumed, basically I've had like access to every streaming device, and then I couldn't find it anywhere. Like it wasn't on Netflix or Hulu or Apple or
It wasn't even
Prime
on
or Tubi. Like there was a couple like places where you could rent it. So I ended up had a credit on Apple because I had recently bought a new iPhone, and so it was like they give you like a Apple TV credit, and so I ended up. I did get to watch it, but on Apple TV, but it was.
You have to rent it.
But so I had a credit to rent it. So,
Yeah.
but it was basically, it was a rent or buy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but yeah, thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to check out all the other stuff.
Yeah, and of course our socials. We're working on beefing up our TikToks, but of course we got our Instagram, our Facebook, Twitter, Threads. Hey, follow us, like us. It's an easy way to get a hold of us if you got any suggestions, anything you want to see, if you want to dispute our reviews.
A lot of people are
feel free.
A lot of people are gonna be like, "You guys just say buy everything." It's because we just love movies, man.
We do.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us. My name is Barry.
This is Colby.
And this is Who Watches This. If you guys want to check it out as the theme music, it is Lee Rosevere. It's called Arcade Montage. It's on our album Music Podcast 3, and her Bandcamp is down below.
Thank you.